Hey, what's up guys, YBHunted here, and today I'm going to talk about another topic that can be controversial, and I like talking about these things because it gets you guys involved. So what we're going to be talking about today is aliens, UFO sightings, and just everything that kind of goes along with that in around a 7-minute video. So I'm going to try and talk about as much as I can. I don't know what gameplay I'm going to be using yet. I'm talking to my desktop screen, so thank you if it's your gameplay, and if it's mine, then I thank myself. Anyway, so UFO sightings and aliens. Are they real? Have they been here? And all that good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and start out with the fact that I personally believe that there are other life forms in the universe. It is extremely ridiculous to think that we are the only ones here in this giant, vast space area thing. So, you know, to think that we're the only ones is pretty ridiculous, especially when we don't even have the capability of seeing anything. And then as far as, this just popped into my head, but as far as a war goes with another being, the only thing I'm going to say about that is, because that's also speculated what would happen, if people, or whatever they are, were able to get to us first, then we would be screwed, because we can't even get past our moon. We can't even get to the next, we can't even get to another planet. So if they can travel across the universe to a point where we don't even know they exist, they're so far away, just imagine what their weapons are like. So that argument's pretty much invalid. You know, all these movies about fighting aliens and stuff seems pretty far-fetched and stupid, because if they can make a spaceship to get over here, just imagine what their weapons are like. Okay, so anyway, now onto the serious stuff. Just wanted to get that out of the way. As far as things like pyramids go, and Egyptian glyphs and things like that people see, there are a few things that I think are pretty weird and suspect. One, I actually just learned of a few months ago, actually, while watching the History Channel. They were doing a documentary on aliens, and one thing was that the Egyptian hieroglyphs actually have, and you can Google this, they have pictures of what appears to be like a velociraptor in their glyphs, which is just weird. Like, obviously they weren't around at the time of the Egyptians building the pyramids. They were gone for millions of years. You know, so that's just one speculation, and I'm going to list some speculations and not comment on some of them, because I don't even know what I think. At this point, I haven't really given it an insane amount of thought, but it's just more for you guys to speculate as well and get you guys thinking and commenting. So that's one thing, and the other thing is, how did they build these giant pyramids? There's been plenty of debate, plenty of debates, plenty of shows on it. There's been shows about why the humans did it and why they were able to, and there have been you know, shows on saying that, you know, other beings have came to our planet and they helped us build these things. Now, my opinion on that is one of uncertainty, honestly. I don't know. You want to believe that they did it on their own, but how? It's just, there's the way that historians have been able to explain that the Egyptians did it with using, you know, logs and rolling these giant blocks up. You know, the slopes that they made seems extremely difficult. You know, I don't even think architects would want to build a pyramid today with the equipment we have today, let alone that. And, you know, that just seems pretty ridiculous. I'm not going to say anything more because I don't know. No one knows. The other thing is things like, you know, Easter Island with the what are they called? You know, the giant heads, or the stone circle, Stonehenge. All those things are just kind of phenomenons that we don't know how the people of the older times were able to do those things. Another thing that I actually heard from one of my classmates was she had to do a research paper, and I completely don't think that this is true, but she researched and found that a lot of people actually believe that at one point people, or, you know, other beings came to Earth, and in their process of helping, you know, the Egyptians build the pyramids and things like that, they left their materials in the desert, and, you know, it's buried under the sand. Basically, if you've watched Transformers 3, how the dark side of the moon had their spacecraft on it, and then underneath the pyramid was I can't remember what the heck it was, some machine to destroy the sun, I believe is what it did. It's kind of what people believe, that underneath the deserts out in the Middle East are buried ancient, extraterrestrial devices, and people believe that the reason that the U.S. actually went over to Iraq and all that was not because of 9/11 and oil, quote unquote, because obviously it is about oil to an extent. It is to find these devices because we know they are there, and that to me is extremely far-fetched, but it does bring up another thing to think about. Has anyone ever actually dug into the desert? But the thing is, chances are they can easily find out what's underneath the desert without actually digging, just by sonar, or not sonar, that's underwater, but you know what I'm saying. They could scan underneath the ground and find that out. Now, UFO sightings, as far as that goes, UFO sightings. Okay. It's obvious that a lot of the UFO sightings are just aircrafts that people, a lot of these UFO sightings happen out west in the U.S., which is where, Area 51 is. There's a lot of military bases out there, so a lot of people, a lot of civilians don't know, aren't, obviously the military isn't going to keep us up to date to the minute with new aircraft that comes out. So whenever something comes flying overhead with new lights on it, or a different shape that we haven't seen before, people think it's a UFO. Now, there are some videos on YouTube and on the internet that do look pretty real, as far as UFO things go, but those can easily be faked too. Movies like Transformers looks real. They do a pretty good job animating it. You would think they were actually there if you're watching the movie. That's the reason you go, because of the nice animations. You're not going to go watch a crappy movie. But as far as actual UFO sightings go, I personally think, I'm sure that, being that in my belief that we aren't the only ones here, I'm sure that there's been a couple times where something has flown over, possibly, that we can't explain, and people may have been right, but most of the time these people are probably just looking for attention, or are legitimately worried but have no real reason to worry, because it's just a spacecraft. Obviously some of these things are actually UFOs, because a UFO stands for unidentified flying object, which could be anything from a balloon to a jet from another country that we don't know is about or isn't supposed to be there. When you say UFO, people kind of think of flying saucers, but that's something completely different. That falls under the category of UFO, but a UFO is not a flying saucer. So those are just what I had to say on this, guys. This is mainly, me just throwing things out there. I want to get into a conversation with you guys in the comments if you would allow it, and comment. That would be pretty cool. I just want to hear what you guys have to say about this, because it is obviously a very controversial thing. Just to recap, I personally believe we are not the only ones in the universe that are intelligent life form and can function like we do. If they got to us first, we would lose. And as far as the pyramids go, I feel that there was... See, I don't want to say that they got help, because that's just so far-fetched to think that, but the idea that they did it themselves with logs and manpower is pretty hard to believe as well. So thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Like I said, please leave a comment, and I'll see you guys next time.